Hello everybody, this is Conquering History Games, and welcome back to another Kaiserreich guide. And yes, I know it's not compatible with Man the Guns right now, but this has nothing to do with the new mechanics. It is just a guide for a portion of the American Union States event trees. So we are going to jump into it here again. If you haven't seen my Pelly's America playthrough, or not playthrough, well, you should watch my playthrough, but you should also go check out, here it is, my Pelly coup into Charles Lindbergh video where I talk about this a little bit more. And you know, if you're saying, oh, this is going to be out of date soon, remember, whenever I do videos, guides on Kaiserreich, the devs very, very quickly change it, you know, to fuck with me. That's my conspiracy theory. That's the tinfoil hat I'm wearing. I'm sticking to it. So, I'm sure you know how to create the American Union State, switch over to them, and the Civil War will start. After the Civil War starts, you're going to pretty quickly get this event, the appeal to reason. Charles Lindbergh, this is step one, by the way, not counting actually becoming the American Union State. So, step one, appeal to reason. Charles Lindbergh has arranged a meeting between Huey Long and a number of leading industrialists, including Henry Ford, Fred Koch, and H.L. Hunt. These men are inclined to close their factories and refineries within the South to comply with orders from the federal government. However, they are instead persuaded by Lindbergh to stick up for Huey Long and move their business empires into the American Union State on a few conditions. They ask that Huey Long guarantee some sort of political exception to them in these dire economic times, as well as a promise of political office once the war is won. If Long agrees to their demand, it will give them greater influence, and many of his supporters will wonder if he plans on betraying his ideals. However, refusing in such a time may prove costly. You're going to agree to the reasoning, which is going to give you some bonuses to your political power, game factory output, and supply consumption, but this is necessary in order to eventually have the business plot trigger. So in a way, this is also a guide on how to do the business plot, as well as get the other Long in charge. So once you've done that, we can go ahead and jump forward to the American Legion appointment, which is going to happen after the war. Will always happen after the war, no matter what you did during the Civil War. So, with the end of the Civil War comes a vacancy. I already read this in the Pelly video. We are going to appoint George Van Moseley, and this will increase the popularity of the paternal autocrats. Okay, next step is step 3, that is, because that one was step 2. We are going to go to a special session of Congress where they are going to be trying to pass a bill. These are the bills that are related to the veterans package. Again, I went over this in the Pelly video a bit. So you have the two options. Either you can pass the bill, which will increase your political power costs and division training time, but it makes recovery better. I speculate that that's supposed to represent that the soldiers aren't hungover or something, but we will not pass the bills, and then I'm actually going to just let some time go by so we can see it happen. But the key here is to have Moseley in charge, and Moseley supposedly is Tosley's or Rosley, but Moseley supposedly erroneously. So, the midnight dinner, this is the business plot version of the Night of Long Knives. After a dinner in Washington, D.C., President Huey Long has disappeared along with his limousine and several of his armed guards. The disappearance was not noted until 9 the next morning, and by then the newspapers had already begun spinning a story about syndicalist plotters. The Secret Service, having been decimated by the war, must seek out the aid of the FBI if they are to ever find President Long alive. American Legion National Commander George Van Horn Moseley has announced he will guide the country until a proper leader is found, ensuring syndicalism is uprooted from the country. Congress has called an emergency session to deal with succession. As kidnapping has no proper recourse in the Constitution, the syndicalists shall not get away with this. And there you have it. He's in charge. And then this will cut off anything you were doing with New Washington, and it opens up the business plot. Okay, the next step is some time is going to go by, and you're going to have to deal with 3 events before you can get rid of the business plot. The first of these is the loose ends. Basically, what all of these events are going to have in common is, for a cost, you can try to cover up what you've done, or you can hope that nobody's going to figure it out. So, tying up loose ends, weaving spiders are the many members of the press that continue their fruitless search for Huey Long. Though the FBI has made the best public display of effort possible, there persists some underground press who do not believe syndicalists did the deed. While most pamphlets on this are published anonymously, the FBI have traced their origin and surprisingly found them to be coming from both the left and right, politically speaking. These conspiracy theorists, as we call them, could destabilize our new government if they continue their publications. So if you're trying to like basically counter coup the War Powers Committee, which is what this video is about. You say, leave them be, this will soon blow over. Okay, that was step 4. Step 5, the Every Girl a Queen event. Interesting how the popularity stays up here in the corner every time I do this. Anyway, Every Girl a Queen, the most delicate part of the business plot is upon us. It appears Huey Long's will dictates that in an event of his injury or incapacitation, his wife Rose Long was to take his post. Many diehard Long followers have come to Washington demanding Rose occupy the presidential mansion until Huey Long be found. They are met with an equal number of former Federalists who insist Huey Long's running mate, William Lemke, is the constitutionally correct president. Siding with the Constitution as our best defense is perhaps the more prudent path, although it could be seen as an insult to Huey Long's widow and inflame the anger of the public even further. You will say the Constitution is not subject to sentiment, which is going to make the business plot less popular. Finally, step 6 is regarding the War Powers Committee versus Congress. We got this screen twice in a row. Interesting. Okay, a meeting today between the War Powers Committee and several congressmen friendly to our cause was held to address the future of representation in the presidential cabinet. Fearing that the political spotlight the War Powers Committee is under by holding cabinet positions has 2 possible solutions. The first is to coordinate with Congress in order to push through a law to reorganize the presidential cabinet to officially become the War Powers Committee. The second is to appoint several of our loyalist politicians from Congress to appease prying eyes and keep the stability of our new American Republic needs. The latter comes at great political cost and will weaken our position, though certainly it goes a long way towards obscuring our intentions. You're going to say the War Powers Committee will be the new cabinet, and hey, you got 100 political power. Isn't that nice? So that's it. You're done. The business plot is going to fail now. You just need to wait it out, which is just going to take a little bit here, but I just wanted to show you that there was no shenanigans going on, that once that final step has been taken, the end is inevitable, and we'll get a different Long. Now, Huey Long's gone. Sorry if you didn't figure that out. He's gone. He is certainly dead. So, okay, we just finished up the American Legion. Thing is that this kind of takes a little bit longer. This section, a couple more weeks, I think, to go, and we'll get the pop-up. Does this guy have a bio? Yes, he does. So there you can read his bio if you want. So here it is. No one wears a crown. Although he was maligned during the war for his almost nihilistic attitude, the journalist Westbrook Pegler has more than redeemed himself to the public today through investigative journalism, dodging government goons, and a dedication to facts over his own political reservations. The truth has been uncovered to the public. The underground press has exposed the true killers of Huey Long, his own bodyguards. The blood money was traced right back to none other than interim President George Moseley. The whole apparatus of state has moved to arrest Moseley, who implicated the War Powers Committee in what people are calling the business plot. These men will be brought to justice wherever they lay. The walls come crumbling down. There's going to be yet another changeover. It stops any business plot focus you were doing, and it reopens the new Washington, although now under Earl Kemp Long, who is Huey Long's brother and multiple-time governor of Louisiana, just as Huey had been. I'm talking about in real life. So he, I guess, is the designated successor. So there you have it. That is how you activate the business plot. That is how you counter-coup the business plot, and that is also how you get Earl Kemp Long in charge. You know, American First Party still has a majority, still looking kind of good. Of course, the timeline's going to probably be different because it'll probably take you longer to finish the Civil War, but this is just for educating on this event's purposes. So, thank you for joining me. I am Conquering History Games. Please subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to click the bell so you're always notified whenever a new video goes up. Let me know about any other guides you would be interested in seeing, and remember that Patreons get to vote on future country guides, although the country guides, right now I'm waiting for that to switch over to Man the Guns, because that's going to involve naval stuff, and that's going to involve how much fuel that a country has at the beginning, and things of that nature. So that's why I'm not going to be doing any full-blown country guides, even for Patreons, until Man the Guns comes out, because I want it to be a higher quality guide. Anyway, y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. Goodbye.